Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity, Stop the New World Order, welcome to Panwo TV. This is going to be quite a difficult film for me to make. A different segment of this film, long reportage I've done on the Probe conference at Lytham St Anne's. Because I'm not what you call generally a fussy customer. I'm not a squeaky wheel. I don't send back steaks when they're half a minute overcooked or something like that. I don't moan at waiters if they pour the wine in the wrong way. Things like that. I'm not the kind of person who does that. I'm quite accepting, quite tolerant. You know, but at the same time I'm aware that I have a duty in these films, to be honest. I have a duty not to try and gloss over things when something needs to be said. It's difficult or controversial. I mustn't shy away from that, and this is one of those situations where I'm in that position. That over there is the Carlton Hotel. I filmed many times there. I filmed inside many times too. That poor spot there by that lamppost is where we burnt the census forms last year. I've never stayed at the Carlton. Maybe a very nice place for all I know to stay in. I've never stayed there. All I know is I can judge the place when I visit it. You know, because these hotels, I mean, the Carlton Hotel is actually which the organisers of the Probe conference hire the place basically for the weekend to use as a base. It provides accommodation and catering for all the speakers and many of the delegates too, for the organisers, and also it's a social centre for everyone to get together after the day's proceedings have finished. Now, the first two occasions I went to Probe, that's from October 2006 and March 2007, they were at the Alzinghurst, which is down on by Derb Road, which is opposite where I used to stay at the Ad Astra, and that was a beautiful hotel. It was a beautiful place to stay in. There was a comfortable room with friendly bar staff and a very, very nicely well-stocked bar, which is quite cheap. After that, for some reason, they moved to the Carlton. And I have to be honest, that the Carlton, for a visitor in the bar, it's not a very nice place. The bar itself is not very well stocked. There's nothing on draft at all. There's a few cans and bottles in the fridge, bottles of wine, spirits, that kind of thing, which are pretty expensive, quite frankly. I drink Boddington's bitter when I'm in there, and if you like Boddington's bitter, that's fine because it's a cheap drink. But you know, the other drinks were a bit more. I mean, there's one guy who was charged £3 for a small bottle of lager. One beer in this town is actually far cheaper than it is in Oxford. I mean, I bought a round at a pub last night when I was with Dave and Colin and those Sony Air people for £5.20. You know, for two drinks, 2 pints. It's, how this place can charge £3 for a small bottle, I don't know. One of the guys actually said he was charged £2 earlier in the evening and £3 later on. I don't know. Also, I must say that the barmaid is not the friendliest person on earth. You don't get a warm welcome when you go in there. In fact, I find her quite abrasive and intimidating. And I don't know if she's just the barmaid or whether she's the owner, occupier, and manager of the hotel. I imagine the latter. Otherwise, they'd probably sack her. She's a bit of a female Basil Fawlty, quite frankly, and you know, she makes you act like you're doing her. She's doing you an enormous favour when you know, you have to be. You're being enormously inconvenient, and she's doing you a huge favour when she serves you these very expensive and not very good drinks. Not much choice, not much variety. It was so much nicer at the Alzinghurst. Now, this is not a direct criticism of the conference organisers. There may be a very good reason that I'm not aware of why they have to use the Carlton Hotel. All this video is me relating my experiences of how I find the place, and I find it severely lacking, and I do wish they'd find somewhere else. I really do. That might not be possible. If it's not possible, there could be a good reason for it, and I'm not, you know, this is not criticism of them. I don't think I'll visit the place again, though. I mean, I'll find somewhere else to go and meet up with maybe some different people. I'll still enjoy the conference, I'll still come to the conference, I just won't meet up with the people at the Carlton anymore. I've had enough of it, you know. So that's my gripe over with, one of the few gripes I actually have with this event. Glad to get it off my chest. See you later.